So, I've always loved the Resident Evil franchise. I've beaten almost every mainline game multiple times and watched countless people play them. And I'm not ashamed. There's something special about these games, how they blend horror with action and actually make it fun and rewarding at the same time. Now that doesn't apply to every single RE game because, yeah. But one game always stood out from the rest with its crazy monsters, edgy one-liners,
Chew on that, you overgrown son of a...
and creepy atmosphere. And that game is RE2, the remake. So why do I love this game so much and always come back to it? Well, after replaying it for the 74th time, I think I'm qualified to go over it. The game starts with a truck driver cruising down the highway. He accidentally hits a woman standing in the street. He steps out of the truck all sad and moody for ruining her day, but then she wakes up and attacks him from behind. Then, we finally get into the tender meat of the game, Leon Kennedy. Leon was heading to the police station on his first day as a cop. He stops at a gas station to get, well, gas, and gets attacked by zombies. That's where he meets Claire and they both escape to the police station. A cool little intro to the game, but trust me, it gets better. On their way to the station, they hit a roadblock and get surrounded, and I'm like, we gotta go. But at that point, guess who shows up? Mr. Fatty here. He blacks out on the wheel and flips over. The truck explodes and the entire street turns into a Doom level. Now let me tell you a fun fact. I've actually tried playing the original many years ago, but the reason I never finished it was this part. Because, oh my god. Imagine the original RE2 being your first experience with tank controls. Yep, that was me. I died more than 50 times trying to get to the station before I gave up. I couldn't even get past the first minute of the game. If I play it nowadays, I'll get through it, but back in the day, oh my. Anyway, we enter the police station and see an officer asking for help in the cameras. Leon is a stronger man than I am, because if it was me in there, I would have dipped. We find the officer asking for help, but Leon fails to fully open the gate and save him. Now before I continue, let's talk about this real quick. It'll only take a second, so bear with me. What exactly was this goof's plan? Was he lying prone on the ground while there's an endless amount of zombies behind him? Like, what was the idea here? Am I missing something? So anyway, we loot the officer's body and find a notebook containing the solution for the statue puzzles. Each puzzle we solve gives us a medallion. We need 3 medallions to open up an underground passage out of the station. So we go back to the main hall and get saved by an officer named Marvin, who was bitten a while back. Now let me shed a light on the gameplay loop of this game, which I absolutely love. Going from room to room, sweeping the place and seeing the map turn to blue gets my monkey brain satisfied. It's all simple but truly effective. Eventually, we learn that Claire is alive in the courtyard. Leon's crippling loneliness gets to him and decides to meet up with her, where an aircraft crashes into the station. Thankfully this time it was 1 building instead of 2. After a long, horny conversation that I did not need to hear between our main characters, the helicopter explodes and alerts all zombies in a 300-meter radius. So we pack up and go on our mission. After being lost for the 14th time in the station, I finally learn where the last statue is, but it's not a walk in the park, thanks to this roided up monstrosity. After having a civil conversation with our friend here, civil as in running like a bitch, I acquire a C4 detonator and blow up a wall nearby to assert dominance. Then I acquire the 3rd and final medallion to open up the passage. Leon insists on finding help for Marvin, but Marvin, having the only functioning brain in the game, tells Leon to save himself. I know for a fact Leon's only doing it for the camera, since he only cares about, you know. Anyway, Leon happily leaves Marvin, and so begins our next section. We enter the underground, where we meet the main boss of the game, William, aka the most NPC average looking monster in Resident Evil. He throws us even more under the underground into a boss fight arena, where we empty half of the military's ammunition into him, just for him to jump into oblivion. Great use of valuable resources, Leon. We climb up into the garage, where we find a gate leading outside the station. However, the gate needs a special item to open. No, not her. I mean a keycard. While searching for the keycard, we get attacked by the worst type of ops, the creatures of hell. Dogs. Actually, it was 1 dog, and we needed help to kill it. That's where she gets introduced. She introduces herself as an FBI agent and advises Leon to leave and save himself. but the fact that this video is far from over means he didn't listen. While searching for the keycard, we meet this guy. Not gonna lie, I still don't know what his name is, who has the keycard on him. He proposes that we break him out of the cell and he'll give us what we need. But before we give him an answer, his head gets smashed in by the grey twin of Omni-Man. Just like you're gonna smash that sub button, right? Then the fine woman reappears. She says something inappropriate, but Leon is a focused man on a mission. She reveals that her name is Ada and skirts away. At this point, I'm done. I want to take that damn keycard and get the hell out of here. But in classic Resident Evil fashion, that's not gonna be easy. We gotta find 2 electric parts to restore power and open the cell. One of the parts is nearby, so I acquire it with ease, but the second one is located in the station. So while I was on my way, I accidentally executed a few stray dogs and finally reached the station, where I found my arch nemesis, the dumbass officer from earlier. I greeted him with my own way and moved on. After almost reaching the final part, I come across the grey Superman twin, Mr. X. Now this guy has no time to waste. He immediately starts running after me. But unlike the hit song by DMX, this time he's not gonna give it to me. I quickly dribble past him and find my way to the last part. And after mentally struggling with a puzzle for 10 minutes, I finally acquire the last part and power up the prison. I grab the keycard from our deceased friend alongside a recording. But before I get a chance to breathe, I get attacked by every single prisoner in the establishment. Not only that, but our dear friend Mr. X also shows up. I juke him again, but to no avail, thanks to the entire population of the US coming after me. Eventually Mr. X catches up and starts choking me. He must have gotten the wrong idea. But thankfully, Ada saves my ass for the second time in a row and kills Mr. X. Or so I thought. At last, we leave the station using the keycard alongside Ada, where we agree to team up and take down the bad guys. We enter a gun shop and meet Kendo, the shop owner. His daughter has been bit, so he asks for some privacy before putting her to rest. Leon promises to find help and take down whoever was behind this. Ada uncovers that Umbrella, a pharmaceutical company, was the reason behind the outbreak, and that we need to destroy their underground labs in order to save the city. And so begins our next section. We descend through the city to the sewers. Now hear me out. I love this game with passion. Whenever I play a horror game, I always compare it to this game. But I do not mess with this section. But it's not really the game's fault. Sewer sections in games are usually dog urine. Like, give me just one game with a great sewer section. I'm waiting. You still ain't got none. But anyway, we enter the sewers, where we are chased by this guy. Fortunately for me, he lacks any brain cells, so I end his misery by exploding his head. After making our way through the sewers, we meet Annette, the scientist who made the G-Virus, aka the Outbreak. Ada orders her to hand over the virus, but Annette refuses and runs away. We go after her, but then she pulls up a 45 ACP and starts blasting. Leon, being the Chad he is, takes a bullet for Ada and asks her to go after Annette. And then we switch to Ada's perspective. Now, Ada is a weaker version of Leon, with less firepower obviously, but her main gimmick is hacking. She can hack wires and divert power from one source to another. I'll be honest, her section is so I'll quickly go over it. We find Annette, then Mr. Andre the Giant comes back and attacks us. We juke him for the 7th time and find a level 1 wristband that opens up locked doors. Annette locks Ada in and promises to burn her, then some timer pops up, I don't know. Anyway, we break out, find Annette, fall into a pit, get stabbed by debris, and then we're back. Leon wakes up and starts looking for Ada, and in the way we encountered this, so we kill it and move on. Then after watching some footage, we learn that the virus spread due to rats drinking the fluid and spreading it. Now imagine being a doctor in Raccoon City. You spent 6 years in college, an extra 3 years for training, and a couple more to build your CV, to put yourself on the streets. You worked hard. But now, it's all sunshine and rainbows, right? Wrong, because a few rodents didn't know the difference between lunch and virus, so now you gotta die. Anyway, in order to reach Ada, we need to solve a puzzle regarding chess pieces. Not gonna lie, Capcom cooked with this one. I felt like I'm actually smart after solving that puzzle. And I'm almost never smart. After solving it and unlocking the door, we reach the second boss fight of William. It has a cool little gimmick where you gotta use a container to Royal Rumble his ass into the abyss. We finally find Ada, remove the debris and patch her leg up, and at last, we head to the final section of the game.
For your safety, stand clear until the door.
We ride a cable car to reach the lab, where Annette holds the G-Virus. Leon and Ada share a little something, but Ada is injured, so now the mission is left to me. I enter the lab and everything looks fine, until you enter the pitch-dark cafeteria that's swarming with zombies and dead scientists. After slaughtering every scientist in the way, I acquired a level 2 wristband to open up the East Wing. We learned through reading some files that the virus is located in the West Wing, but we need a level 3 wristband to gain access there. This section of the game is a bit tricky to explain since it's made up of a few puzzles all in one area, but I will try my best. I found the wristband stuck behind a pile of plants, so my job is to get rid of these plants by spraying them with a deadly solution. And in the way of me searching for such solution, I encountered a new enemy type, Groot. The only way to kill these things is by burning them with a flamethrower. Despite them being an easy enemy to deal with, I still love how they were introduced. After spending 3 more days solving puzzles and creating the solution, seriously, I spent too much time doing this, I finally use it on the plants and pick up the level 3 wristband, where Mr. X tag teams me with his branched puppets. I've already made it clear that I'm the best at the game, so I take no damage clearing them and move on to the West Wing. I powered up the West Wing and picked up the virus's sample. But before leaving the lab, William teleports to the ceiling and jumps on the platform, thinking that that would stop me. Annette wants in on the fun and shoots William with acid. Little does she know that my bond with William is too strong to end this easily. She explains that William was swatted and almost killed before he injected himself with the virus to stop Umbrella from stealing the sample, which is why he turned into this. William didn't appreciate how she exposed family matters, so he grabs her and throws her to the side. At the end of the day, it's me versus him. I handed William's ass to him with no difficulty and proceeded on my way. But before leaving, Annette asks us to destroy the virus's sample because Ada is not an FBI agent. Instead, she's a mercenary that wants to sell the sample. I confront Ada with this shocking revelation that absolutely no one saw coming. She threatens to shoot me if I don't hand over the sample. Leon calls her out and she stands down, but the entire building is collapsing due to the self-destruct mode built into it. But Annette is playing The Walking Dead, so she arises from the grave and shoots Ada. She falls from the platform, but Leon catches her. She does an emotional outro and signs out. Finally, another timer pops up signaling the destruction of the building. Leon makes contact with Claire and immediately forgets about Ada. But our love interest is in fact not Claire, but instead, it's this guy. Boy, am I done with him. I have one last fight with him where he almost kills me, but then a rocket launcher gets dropped from the sky. I wonder who that was. So I pick up the launcher, sing goodnight to our friend here, and finally give him the rest that he deserves. I notice a train coming by, so I quickly get on it to leave this wretched place. I have one last look at the wristband, and finally say hello to my lonely life. Except that I found Claire in the next train with a child. But that is a story for another day. I am not paying child support. So, Resident Evil 2 Remake, what are my thoughts? I love this game with passion. It brought back so many survival horror elements that were lost with time, due to the huge popularity of jumpscare/hide-and-seek games. And while these games do have merit and they are unique in some aspects, they are mostly forgettable or at least not as memorable as this game. I especially love how this game introduces different enemy types and boss fights. There was a lot of thought put behind each introduction and it really shows. I don't really have any major dislikes towards the game as a survival horror game, but as a game in general, I will admit that the soundtrack is inferior to the original and barely adds anything to the experience, and also the fact that the A-B scenarios don't complement one another. That was a real bummer, honestly. But these flaws are insignificant when you look at the huge amount of great things that this game has accomplished. And I wish that more games follow the same formula of RE2 Remake, because for some reason even Capcom themselves forgot what made this game great and proceeded to make this shit stain, which I might cover one day if you'd like to see that. So, if you've enjoyed this video, I would seriously appreciate your feedback, whether you drop a like, comment, or subscribe to the channel. This content is a passion project and I would love to make it better with your help. So please, suit yourselves in the comments. But in any case, see you in the next one.